this first part show that question, so we need to show really carefully why the thing on the left is equal to the thing on the right, and we could actually start with the thing on the right, um, and I'm going to show two ways of doing it. The typical way, when you're asked to simplify root 20, okay, is to find the largest square number that goes into 20, and that is in fact 4. So I can write it as 4 times 5, largest square number here. What I can then do is I can use my rules of surds, and I can write it as root 4, root 5, but root 4 is equal to 2, so I get 2 root 5, and I'm done. And that's the preferred way of doing it, really, because you do need to be able to simplify surds. But I would say actually sometimes you do need to put it back into like completely, so there's nothing outside of the surd. So an equivalent way would be to basically do the steps in reverse. You can write 2 as root 4, root 5, and then you can use the rule of surds, bring it together, and then you can write it like that. Sometimes one rule of surds covered is that the fact that you can bring the thing on the outside inside as long as you square it. So that is actually sort of a third way of doing it. But anyway, one of these ways to show that it's correct. Okay, now we're told that we've got point A on a grid and the point B is 2 root 5 units from A and lies on the intersection of 2 grid lines. Mark one possible position for B. Okay, for this I'm going to use part A and I'm going to write it back as root 20. That's actually going to be a bit easier because I can imagine drawing a triangle, but I'm going to draw it over here for the moment. It's going to be a right angle triangle, and I'm interested in the length being root 20. So if I call this A and this B, I can actually use Pythagoras' theorem, and I can say that A squared plus B squared is equal to root 20 squared, but that's equal to 20. So now I just need to find maybe some whole numbers that add to 20, because they've got to be whole numbers to fit on the grid line. And if we try some numbers, well, 3 squared is 9. I'd need to get 11 somehow. That's not going to be a whole number. But if I do 2 squared, that's 4. If I then do 4 squared, that works. So basically, I can let A equal 2 and B equals 4, for example, or vice versa. But if I draw a little triangle, so let's say we go 2 along, this is actually the case when B is 2 and 4 up, then that would be a position where AB is equal to root 20. I've shown on my working, I could draw a line, but I think this is absolutely fine what I've done.